Ladies and gentlemen, today, I want to speak about something both timeless and urgent, a message drawn from the wisdom of Shi Heng Yi and the unspoken truths that so many overlook. When a man hurts a good woman, this is what he loses. It sounds like a warning, but it's more than that. It's a reminder of what's truly valuable. In a world where kindness is rare and loyalty even rarer, a good woman stands like a lighthouse in the storm. She is not perfect, but she is genuine. She forgives, she nurtures, and she builds. She believes in the man she loves often before he believes in himself. But when that trust is broken, when her love is met with betrayal or indifference, something shifts. And if he doesn't realize what he had before it's gone, he will eventually. Because what he loses is more than just a relationship. He loses the woman who prayed for him in silence. He loses the calm in his chaos. He loses the one who saw beyond his flaws and still stood by his side. A good woman loves deeply, but she also leaves quietly. She doesn't beg to be loved. She knows her worth. And when she walks away, she takes more than just her presence. She takes with her peace, purpose, and the kind of love he may never feel again. So to the men who find themselves hurting a good woman, pause, reflect, repair what is broken before she walks. Because once she is gone, what you lose cannot be easily replaced. You don't just lose her, you lose the best version of yourself she helped you become. Thank you. A good woman is rare and invaluable. In a world where appearances often overshadow substance and where relationships can be transactional, a good woman brings something profoundly different: depth. She is the kind of woman who doesn't just love with her words. She loves with her actions, her patience, and her presence. She stands by quietly during your storms, not because she's weak, but because she's strong enough to weather them with you. She doesn't just support you when things are good. She's there when things fall apart. A good woman listens not just to your words, but to the silence between them. She pays attention to what you need even before you speak it out loud. She forgives when others would walk away. She waits when others would give up. And through it all, she continues to believe in you, not for what you have, but for who you are underneath the layers of pride, pain, or insecurity. What makes her rare isn't just how she treats others, but how she carries herself. She doesn't chase validation or play games. She values honesty and emotional depth. She's not loud about her worth, but it radiates through the way she loves and gives. Her energy is grounding. Her loyalty isn't shallow, it runs deep. She will speak truth to you, not to tear you down, but to help you rise. She will challenge you to grow, not out of criticism, but because she sees the greatness inside you, even when you don't. That kind of presence, that kind of woman, is not easily found. She is a gift, not a possession. And when a man has the fortune of being loved by such a woman, he is holding something more precious than he may realize in the moment. Many spend their lives searching for something even close to what she offers freely, purely, and wholeheartedly. The value of a good woman can't be measured by superficial standards. It's in the quiet sacrifices she makes without asking for recognition. It's in the way she holds space for your healing while hiding her own pain. It's in the consistency she offers when the world is unpredictable. She is the kind of person who will stand in your corner long after others have left the ring. That's what makes her rare. That's what makes her invaluable. And when she's gone, her absence will echo in the silence of all the things you once took for granted. She sees and believes in a man's potential, often long before he even begins to see it himself. This kind of vision is not blind optimism. It is rooted in emotional intelligence and deep understanding. A good woman has an intuitive ability to look beyond what a man shows the world and see what lies beneath his defenses, his failures, his fears. She can see his strength even when it feels weak, his future even when he feels stuck in the past. When the world sees him for what he currently is, she sees him for what he can become. That belief isn't just spoken in compliments or encouragement, it's lived. She makes sacrifices, adjusts her life, gives her time, and puts her energy into helping him grow, evolve, and realize what he's capable of. When he feels like giving up, she reminds him who he is. When he falls short, she doesn't belittle him, she supports him and helps him recalibrate. She knows that success is not always a straight line, and she stays even when the path is unclear. Her faith in him becomes a mirror that reflects his hidden strengths. She reminds him that he is more than his past, more than his mistakes, and certainly more than his doubts. Her belief becomes his foundation. She doesn't just see what he does, she sees why he does it. She reads between his silences and understands the unspoken pain he doesn't yet know how to express. That this kind of woman becomes more than a partner. She becomes a source of emotional fuel. She plants seeds in the dark and waters them with her faith, her resilience, and her loyalty. And when those seeds blossom into success, confidence, and clarity, it's often because she was there in the seasons no one else wanted to be. Her belief is not based on convenience. She doesn't love only the polished version of him. She loves him through his confusion, his ambition, his failures, and his victories. The tragedy, however, is that some men only recognize this gift in hindsight. They don't realize that her unwavering belief is not something that can be bought, replaced, or demanded. It's offered from the heart, and once it's gone, they may never feel that kind of unconditional support again, because not everyone will see them through such a lens. Not everyone will believe in their light when they're lost in their own darkness. A good woman does. And to be truly seen and still love, that is rare. That is sacred. Hurting a good woman is more than just a personal mistake. It is an act of self-sabotage, whether a man realizes it in the moment or not. When a man chooses to disrespect, ignore, betray, or emotionally neglect a good woman, he isn't just damaging the relationship, he's tearing down one of the most genuine sources of love, support, and emotional balance he may ever encounter. A good woman doesn't offer her heart recklessly. She offers it intentionally, with sincerity and depth. Her love is not superficial or dependent on conditions. It is rooted in care, loyalty, and a desire to build something meaningful together. So when a man hurts her, he isn't just breaking her heart, he is unraveling the very foundation of trust and loyalty that she brought into his life. It becomes self-sabotage because he is, often unknowingly, destroying the one person who was willing to see his flaws and still stand beside him. She was the one who believed in him even when he doubted himself. She was the one who reminded him of his worth when he questioned it. By hurting her, whether through lies, manipulation, silence, indifference, or betrayal, he begins a process that slowly erodes not only her love for him but his own character as well. Because to hurt someone who only ever wanted to see you grow means you're not just failing her, you're also failing yourself. A good woman doesn't retaliate with cruelty. She may cry in silence, question herself, and suffer deeply, but she doesn't lash out, and it's in that quiet suffering that a man begins to lose parts of himself he didn't realize were connected to her love. Her emotional presence was a shield protecting him from the chaos within and the pressure outside. Her voice was a compass, guiding him back when he strayed. Her consistency was a balm for the instability in his own life. When he damages that bond, he doesn't just lose her affection, he loses the emotional structure she brought into his life. There is a kind of pain that comes not from what she says, but from her silence after being hurt too many times. When she becomes distant, when her eyes no longer light up at his presence, when her support turns to indifference, that is the slow realization of what's been lost. And by then, it's often too late. The very things that grounded him, the peace, the loyalty, the safe space she created, begin to vanish, and he's left with the consequences of his own actions, loneliness, regret, and the echo of a love he took for granted. To hurt a good woman is not just a matter of failing to treat someone well. It's the deeper failure of not recognizing the gift that her love truly is. It is an act of undoing your own blessings, because the emotional safety, clarity, and elevation she brings cannot be easily replaced. When she's gone, the absence will reveal what her presence had quietly been providing all along. And that is when the self-inflicted damage becomes painfully clear. She doesn't beg for love. That's the difference between a woman who knows her worth and one who's still searching for it. A good woman will give her heart fully. She will invest emotionally, and she will stand by a man with unwavering loyalty, but she will never reduce herself to begging for the love, attention, or respect she deserves. She believes in mutual effort, not emotional charity. If she finds herself constantly reminding a man of her value, pleading for his time, or waiting to be prioritized, she takes it as a sign not of her inadequacy but of misalignment. Her silence isn't a weakness, it's a decision. When she grows quiet, it's not because she has nothing to say, it's because she said everything that mattered and still went unheard. You see, a good woman is strong in ways that many fail to understand. Her strength is not loud or showy, it's internal. She will fight for love, yes, but she won't fight to be noticed in someone's life. There is a point where even the most patient heart becomes tired, when she has loved deeply and still feels like she's fighting a one-sided battle. She doesn't throw tantrums or issue ultimatums. She simply starts to detach, quietly, gracefully, and when she leaves, she doesn't make a scene. She just walks away, carrying all the parts of herself she once gave so freely. The man who believed she would always stay, that she would always forgive, always wait, will one day turn around and realize she's no longer there. And it won't be because she stopped loving him. It will be because she finally realized that loving herself meant letting go of what was hurting her. That's the part that often gets misunderstood. She doesn't leave because she's given up. She leaves because she's grown. She has realized that begging for love only diminishes her spirit and gives power to someone who doesn't know how to handle it. It takes maturity and self-respect to know when to stop pouring into someone who doesn't know how to receive or return that love. She may cry behind closed doors. She may grieve the dream she had for the relationship, but she will not lose herself in the process. And that is what makes her departure so powerful, because once a good woman decides she's had enough, no apologies, no gifts, no empty promises can bring her back. She waited too long. She gave too much. And when she finally chooses herself, she does so with finality. That moment when she walks away without begging, without yelling, without blaming is the moment her worth becomes undeniable. Because only those who know their value can walk away in peace from people who couldn't see it. And the silence she leaves behind becomes louder than any word she could have spoken. It echoes in the spaces he once took for granted. It lingers in the places where she used to stand, offering love, comfort, and unwavering support, but now she's gone. And in that silence, the weight of everything he lost begins to settle in. When she walks away, she takes her emotional investment. With her every word of encouragement, every silent prayer, every ounce of energy she once poured into the relationship. A good woman doesn't just love on the surface. She gives from the depths of her soul. Her love is not transactional, it is transformational. She listens when you don't speak. She supports when you're at your lowest. She celebrates you in private. When the world overlooks you, her love is the kind that wraps around you like a safety net, even when you fall without warning. But when she finally chooses to leave after being hurt, dismissed, or devalued, she doesn't just take her physical presence with her. She takes something far more powerful and irreplaceable. Her emotional presence. That emotional investment is what most people miss the most once it's gone. Her constant emotional availability, the way she asked how your day was, how you were, really feeling, what was weighing on your heart suddenly disappears. That nurturing voice that reminded you to rest, to believe in yourself, to hold on when you were ready to give up. In it, the late night talks, the words of affirmation, the healing touch, the quiet support through your storms, all of it leaves with her. And you begin to notice not just the lack of noise, but the absence of warmth. She also takes the peace she brought into your life, because whether you realized it or not, her emotional stability helped regulate yours. Her presence brought balance, clarity, and calm when everything around you was chaos. She grounded you when your mind wandered and uplifted you when your spirit was heavy. She forgave when she had every reason to give up. She stayed when most people would have run. And when she leaves, the imbalance becomes undeniable. You find yourself reacting to silence that used to feel like sanctuary. Her energy once softened the edges of your hardest days, and now, those days cut deeper. She takes with her not just emotional support, but the sense of purpose she brought into your life. Her belief in your dreams, the way she spoke about your potential, the confidence she injected into your spirit. Those things weren't automatic, they were intentional. She offered them because she believed in what you could become. And when that belief is gone, it's like the light that once helped. You see yourself clearly has been switched off. You may still be standing, but you'll feel the difference between surviving and truly being seen. This is the part men often realize too late. They think a woman leaves with her body, her words, maybe her affection, but a good woman leaves with her essence, and that absence creates an emotional void that is almost impossible to fill. Because she didn't just take up space in your life, she added meaning to it. She added direction, consistency, and emotional depth. And once you've to experience that, no shallow connection will ever compare. You will try to find pieces of her in other people, but it won't be the same. Because what she gave you came from her heart, not from a need to be loved, but from a desire to see you whole. That is what leaves when she walks away. Not just a woman, but an emotional force that quietly held everything together. And when that force is gone, the silence isn't peaceful, it's empty. The space she used to fill becomes a reminder of what you lost, not just her love, but everything her love made possible. What he loses is not just a partner, but an irreplaceable emotional foundation, one that many men don't fully appreciate until it's gone. A good woman isn't simply someone who shares your life. She becomes part of the very structure that holds you together when the world is heavy. She is not just company, she is comfort. She doesn't just speak, she understands. She doesn't just love. She nurtures, supports, and uplifts in a way that slowly weaves her into the fabric of your daily life. Your decisions, your peace of mind. When a man hurts this kind of woman, what he loses is far more than her physical presence. He loses a source of stability, clarity, an emotional balance that cannot easily be rebuilt with someone else. She is the one who knew how to read your moods without you having to say a word. The one who checked in, even when you pushed her away. The one who remembered the little things that mattered to you. Not because you asked her to, but because she genuinely cared. Her love was layered, it had depth. It wasn't just romantic, it was spiritual, emotional, mental. She created a safe space for you to be vulnerable. A place where you could lay down your guard and just be yourself without fear of being judged or misunderstood. When that kind of foundation is gone, life suddenly feels unstable in ways that are hard to explain. He may try to move on, distract himself, or even seek comfort in someone else, but nothing will feel the same. Because what he lost wasn't just a relationship, it was the one person who offered him genuine connection with no agenda, no manipulation, and no conditions. She was the emotional anchor when he was drifting, the quiet support behind his loudest victories, the inner peace that held him together when everything else felt like it was falling apart. And once she's gone, the cracks in his life become more visible. The things she used to hold together silently begin to break apart in her absence. This emotional foundation is not something that can be replaced by simply finding someone new. A good woman builds her bond slowly, carefully, with loyalty and intentionality. She invests not just in who you are today, but in who you can become tomorrow. Her love is constructive, not performative. She builds you up, helps you see your blind spots, encourages your dreams, and supports your healing, all while asking for very little in return, except honesty and effort. When that kind of love is lost, what remains is a void that even time struggles to fill out. It becomes painfully clear that she wasn't just part of your life, she was a part of your foundation. The one who steadied you when life pulled you in every direction. The one who reminded you of your strength when you forgot it. And now that she's gone, things that once felt manageable feel heavier. Challenges that were once shared feel isolating, because the emotional strength she provided was never loud. It was woven into everything she did. Her presence made life softer. Her belief made you bolder. Her consistency made the world less uncertain. What he loses, ultimately, is more than her smile, her time, or her touch. He loses the invisible threads she used to hold his world together. The peace that came from knowing someone was in his corner without needing to be asked. And when that kind of emotional foundation disappears, everything above it starts to shake. Because she wasn't just a chapter in his life, she was the structure that made the story worth reading. And once she's gone, he's left with the silence, the regrets, and the realization that some losses can't be undone. She may forgive, but she doesn't forget. That's the quiet truth about a good woman. Her heart is bigger than people realize. She's willing to see the best in you, willing to look past the mistakes, the careless words, the broken promises, and even the moments when you pushed her away. She will give second chances, not because she's naive, but because she hopes that love can grow through understanding. She will forgive you when you're wrong, when you hurt her, when you failed to be the man she believed you could be. But deep down, she keeps a silent record, not to punish you later, but to protect herself from being broken the same way twice. Her forgiveness is not a reset button, it's a process, a painful one. She forgives with tears in her eyes, confusion in her heart, and strength in her soul. And each time you betray her trust, something within her shifts. A layer peels away from the version of herself she gave to you. Slowly, the woman who once gave you endless grace begins to withdraw, piece by piece. You won't always notice it. At first she still smile, still show up, still speak kindly. But her energy changes, her eyes lose a little light. Her voice, though soft, carries the weight of disappointment. You see, forgetting is not part of how a good woman loves. She remembers because she loved deeply. She remembers because she believed so fully in the connection that the hurt left an imprint. She may choose to stay, choose to heal, choose to work through the pain, but she will never forget how it felt to be taken for granted. That memory becomes a quiet filter through which she sees everything after. Your words are heard differently. Your actions are measured against the pain she once endured. The trust, though rebuilt, is more fragile than before. It now carries conditions not of control, but of caution. And this is where some men misunderstand her completely. They believe that because she stayed, all is well. That because she forgave, she's back to who she was before the damage. But a good woman never truly returns to the version of herself that loved without fear. Once she's been hurt by the person she trusted most, her love becomes more guarded, her expectations more defined. She no longer gives the benefit of the doubt as freely, not because she's cold, but because she's learned that her heart is not something to gamble with. Eventually, if the hurt becomes a pattern, she will begin to detach, not out of spite, but out of self-preservation. Forgiveness without changed behavior only stretches her capacity to a point, and when that point is reached, she will no longer fight for something that repeatedly wounds her. Her silence will become the loudest sign that something has changed. She won't argue, she won't beg, she just let go, and in that moment, it won't matter how many apologies come, because though she may have forgiven long ago, she never forgot how it felt to be unloved in the way she needed most. So yes, she may forgive, but that does not mean she forgets. And the memory of how she was treated, especially when she gave her all, becomes the foundation for her next chapter, one where she chooses peace over pain and self-respect over waiting for someone to finally treat her right. And once she makes that choice, there is no turning back. He loses the best version of himself she helped create. That's the most overlooked truth when a man hurts a good woman. Often, men think they stand alone in their growth, that their success, stability, and confidence are entirely self-made. But in many cases, behind that steady climb was a woman quietly pushing, encouraging, and believing in him when he was too tired, too lost, or too broken to believe in himself. She wasn't just a witness to his journey. She was a contributor to it. She watered his dreams, gave voice to his silent hopes, and held space for his flaws while pushing him to be better. Her love didn't just support him, it refined him. With her by his side, he felt seen, heard, and valued. Her faith in him wasn't loud or performative. It was consistent. She reminded him of his potential, not by demanding more, but by inspiring more. Her presence made him stronger. Her honesty made him wiser. Her patience gave him room to grow, and her love gave him courage to face himself. She was the mirror, reflecting back the man he could be, not the one defined by his past, but the one driven by purpose, integrity, and love. And slowly, under the quiet strength of her influence, he started to evolve, not just as a partner, but as a man. But when he hurts her, when he lies, neglects, cheats, or simply stops appreciating her, he begins to dismantle the very structure that supported his growth. And when she finally walks away, it's not just her that disappears. It's everything she brought out in him. The emotional clarity, the motivation, the sense of being understood without needing to explain. He loses all of it. The version of himself that she nurtured, protected and poured into, slowly starts to fade. Because without her steady love, anchoring him, he begins to drift back toward the man he was before she came into his life. This loss isn't immediate, it's gradual and quiet. It shows up in the lack of direction he starts to feel, in the absence of peace that used to come from knowing someone had his back. It appears when he no longer has someone who reminds him of his strength during his weakest moments, or someone who sees through his defenses and still chooses to love him anyway. He may try to replicate the version of himself he was when he was with her, but without the emotional and spiritual grounding she provided, it becomes harder, because she didn't just love him for who he was, she loved him into who he could become. Over time, this realization hits harder. He may succeed in other areas of life, meet other people, or even appear to move on, but deep down, he knows something is missing. It's not just about missing her smile, her touch, or her laugh. It's the absence of the man he became when he was with her. That version of him, the one that was emotionally open, hopeful, driven, and deeply connected to someone who believed in him. That man existed because of her influence. And now that she's gone, he's left trying to rebuild something that only ever existed in the light of her love. Asterisk, the irony is that he often won't recognize this until much later. In hindsight, he'll remember how steady he felt when she was there, how grounded he was, how her love made him aim higher and act better, and by the time he realizes that she brought out the best in him, she'll already be thriving without him. Because the truth is, when a man hurts a good woman, he doesn't just lose her, he loses the version of himself that only her love made possible. And that version, the best version, doesn't come around twice. So, in the end, when a man hurts a good woman, he loses far more than her presence. He loses the quiet power that made him better, the love that lifted him, the peace that steadied him, and the version of himself that only existed in the reflection of her belief. A good woman doesn't leave to punish. She leaves to protect her heart. And once she's gone, no amount of regret can rebuild what was broken by carelessness. May this be a reminder not just to value her while she's still beside you, but to honor the rare kind of love that transforms, uplifts, and gives without asking much in return. Because when that love walks away, it doesn't leave a void, it leaves a lesson. And for some, that lesson comes too late.